So do you want to get ahead of the 99% of people who are in full-time employment right now? You might be one of those in the 99%. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why you don't want to be part of the 99%. And along the way, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 simple steps that you can take to start moving yourself out of the 99% and into the 1%. Now, let me explain first about the 99% so we can understand what the problem is. The way that the society works is that you typically go through the factory effect of life. When you're born, you are expected to go into full-time education, which is on a compulsory basis. Then you may go into optional education on top of that, maybe going to the college, doing a university degree, and then you get yourself into a full-time job. And then quickly you start to realize that you need your own space. So you need your own house and you need a car, and then you have a family and you have children. And then all of a sudden, you need to spend more money on your house, your car, your family, your children. So you have to get a higher paid job or you have to take on more hours. And this process just continues through the rest of your life until you retire, at which point you take a step back from earning more. You actually earn a lot less at that point because it's really just savings you've accrued already, and then your life ends. Now, most people in the 99% category are just doing that. They are literally following that standard model. Getting out of that is a good thing for you to allow you to do the things that you want to do. And I've got 6 really simple steps that if you start to adopt these and work on them right now, you can literally get out of that 99% club quite quickly and into the 1% of people who are able to do things their own way. They're able to be employed by themselves, make the money that they want, work the hours that they want. So it's time for us to get into the steps, and we're going to start with step 1, which is the most important of all. And I'm going to demonstrate this by using an example of someone who's really good at this, and his name is Dan Coe. Now, if you don't know who this person is, he's one of the best writers that I know on X at the moment, and has also launched many different courses and masterclasses in how to write well, and also how to be a one-person business. He earns 6 figures pretty much every month. And the reason for that is because his writing is super, super good. Writing posts, emails, and even articulating videos that give you some value that you can relate to immediately. So if you want to grow your own business from scratch, you're going to need to be able to write, and you're going to have to learn how to write. And what I would say to start with this is to study an influencer like Dan Coe and see how they write. Start joining email lists from some of your favorite influencers who are really good at writing. We talked about Dan Coe earlier. There's also people like Justin Welsh who are also excellent writers on X. These people know how to articulate short and long form messages. You can sign up to their free email lists and you can look at what they're doing on X right now to get an idea of how to write content. The whole goal of this is to be able to write down problem statement with a hook, and also be able to write down how you plan to solve other people's problems with your writing or other products or services. And that brings us nicely onto step 2 in the process, because we're now going to take the writing and create something else out of it. Now, for this step, I'm going to use Ali Abdaal as an example. Now, Ali Abdaal is a feel-good creator and a productivity creator, and he's a New York Times bestseller as well. He has created tons and tons of content, has well over 5 million subscribers on YouTube, and has literally created his entire business around being a presentable figure and being in front of the camera. All of the videos and content that you'll see Ali Abdaal do is put together in a very, very professional way. If you watch any of his content, you will see that the way he talks to you as a person is a direct conversation with you. He is very approachable, and it feels like you're having a real conversation with that person rather than it being a lecture per se. And this is something that you need to get good at as well, because being able to present a solution to a problem or present a product or a service to someone is one of the key ways that you're going to get people to buy those products and services from you. So to do this, you're going to need a camera. Now, I would suggest to start out to learn how to do this is literally to use your phone camera, put it on a stand in front of you, a little bit like you're seeing right now with me, and just start practicing recording and being comfortable in front of the camera, talking to somebody else at the other end of the camera. Imagine you're doing a FaceTime video call with someone and you're just trying to articulate something really clearly. And as you do this more and more, you will get much more confident about talking about things in a free way. You won't necessarily have to script as much. And the more information that you can relay without having to read from a script, the more authentic and presentable your information is. People will trust you a lot more, and they're more likely to buy any product or service that you offer in the future. And obviously you can reference all kinds of influencers. I mentioned Ali Abdaal earlier. What you can do is to watch lots of his content, or you can watch other people's content. You see how they present information to you, how they tell stories, and how they engage with the camera in general. It really will help when it comes to presenting your material, and it really will help when it comes to locking in those sales. So this brings us on to step number 3, and this is where we need to start thinking about ourselves a little bit more in terms of our offering and what we do. And actually what we need to do here is start to think about what skills, hobbies, and activities that you are really good at that are potentially something you might be able to monetize. So an example of this is if you are a really good football player, or maybe you're a really good golfer, maybe you're a personal trainer and you're really good with fitness and health. You need to start listing out all of these things that you're really good at and start working out, are there any monetizable opportunities in there? Because if you know of something which is monetizable and you can actually sell it as a service or a product, you can potentially position it to solve a problem for a customer, and that is going to put you in a really good place to capitalize on your skills. Remember, if you're full-time employed and you're doing this, someone else is taking the value that you're offering, the individual brilliance that you might be able to bring to something. So why not take that for yourself and literally give it out to other people as a kind of service that you want to give out rather than what somebody else wants you to give it out as. Now, this list of skills doesn't have to be massive, because as we go on over time and we continue to evolve our skills in this space, we will learn more things and we will be able to identify more monetizable opportunities that we can push out to our audiences. And that will bring us nicely into step 4, which is to now create our business plan around the 3 previous steps. So we already know that we've got to write and we've got to be able to present written content and in video form. What we also need to do now is to be able to take those things that we identified as monetizable opportunities in step 3 and start thinking about how do we actually position those offerings to the different people in the market. Now, I use the term business plan here, but this doesn't mean you have to write some 50-page document explaining why you need a loan to launch a new coffee shop or something like that. All you need is a few simple things in your business plan. You firstly need to list out the area that you're going to operate within. So if that was golf or personal training or fitness, then we need to get that laid down. We also need to work out who is it that we're actually serving? What are the avatars for the people that we're going to go after? Now, an avatar is just a type of person. An example of this might be 40-year-old male golfers who have back problems and want to get better at playing golf. This could be an area that you go after because you might have some kind of solution in mind that you can help them with, and that is an easy target market because you've laid it down. So creating those avatars, that what these people are like, what they do every day, what are their pain points, what are their problems, is going to really help you. And another area that you can cover in this business plan are the kind of problems that you will actually solve. So if you're going to solve several types of problems, we can take that even further and create different kinds of content targeting each of those problems, and potentially even pointing those problems to different services or products that you offer in order for you to be able to deliver them to those customers to solve those pain points, by which they will probably be willing to part with money if you've done a good enough job of selling that product into them. And this is a key fundamental, and it's the last setup step, because we're now going to move into step 5, and this is where we really need to get hold of all of the previous steps and we need to start taking action. And what we really mean here is we need to start doing the things that we talked about. So we've learned a little bit about writing. We now need to practice and continue to practice writing, and we need to write it and publish it. We need to present doing video content or any other kind of presentation. We need to be able to be practicing doing that and actually delivering that content out to the public so we can get live feedback from audiences. Remember, videos and content might not be great at first, but you will get better at them. There's no point in putting that to waste. If you adopt a "it must be perfect" approach to everything, I promise you won't actually get very far. You need to get content out there and learn to fail fast. If you don't make a success of it the first go, it doesn't matter. These things take time. The important thing is that you're getting stuff out there. And this is probably where most people will come unstuck, because it's easy to say, oh, I've learned how to do this. I've learned how to do that. Now I must put it into action. And that's when people often choke. I would say just get out there and do it. It doesn't matter if your first videos or written content are not perfect. Getting content out there and showing your intent is super, super important for building an audience and a fan base, and for people who might come back later to want to buy some of your products or services. Now, the very last step in this 6-step process is quite simple. It's a monitor, rinse, repeat action. You just need to look at all the 5 steps that you've done all the way through. You need to progress on learning how to write. You need to progress on learning how to present. You need to continue to find ways to monetize the skills and things that you have already, or new skills that you've learned along the way that you can now add to your repertoire. And of course, when it comes to actually putting that business plan together about the avatars, the different targets, you always have to be doing that. You have to be finding new audiences to go after, new people to target with solutions to those problems. And of course, when it comes to taking action, creating better content, better landing pages, better email marketing, this is just stuff that you will just do naturally. As long as you keep doing it and you keep recognizing where you can do better, you will do better. And if you can continue to do that and you can do it consistently and find yourself a regular cadence of delivering content, videos, written content, trust me, you will have success with it because it just takes time. Now, 99% of people potentially watching this video may never go on to do any of this. And if you want to know the reason why you should try to do this, I suggest you watch the video that's on screen because it will be a bit of an eye-opener for you as I explain why I was suddenly thrust from the employed world after 19 years. Other than that, my name's been Paul Dutton. Hopefully you found some form of value in this video and I'll chat to you in the next one real soon.